Good evening again, everyone. The Final Fantasy Randomizer Winter Marathon 2024 Friday night continues with Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. We are raising donations for the South Carolina State Firefighters Burn Children's Fund, an excellent cause which helps support pediatric burn patients and their families. And we have raised a total of $3,000 so far. So our next incentive is going to be four. That's enough to send the 6 kids to camps. Joining me are Inven and Annadale. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. Excited to showcase some free enterprise door randomizer, but it looks like the chat is getting a double audio thing. Do we need to manage that quickly before we kick it in full gear?
Give me just a moment. What did I do wrong? Double audio from. Oh, Flurry, are you broadcasting your Discord through your stream?
I am. My second. My bad.
Are you broadcasting your Discord through your stream?
Alrighty. While he fixes that, we'll talk about some of the things that the Burn Children's Fund does. As I see he's on mute, so we won't get the double audio. So they provide funding for non-medical items and services critical to recovery pediatric burn patients. So I talk about the, about the medical things, but all the non-medical things. Provide funding for patients and their families' basic needs during treatment, such as food, lodging, clothing, transportation, educating parents and family members about burn care and safety, funding for both burn recovery handbooks and materials. Funding need improvement supplies to provide the highest quality of burn care, pediatric burn hydrotherapy rooms, medications, and dressing supplies. All sorts of great things. This is a great cause, so let's get those donations coming. We actually did get one in the break. That's why we're at 3,000. That was from Gob saying, ban Sony from future runs for $148. So that, great job, Gob. And of course, if you saw the run, you'll see why Sony is donating to have Sony banned.
Okay, looks like Flurry's opted to stay deafened throughout this run for ease on their end. So, Ivan, Auntie, if you two are ready, I'll give... Sorry.
Hey, it's all good. These things happen. You gotta just wing it.
I'll give them a permission to go, and we'll start the timer.
All right. Well, while that's happening, give everyone a brief rundown. Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. Most of y'all have seen the game before. It actually received a public release earlier this year, and tons of community members had just so many great ideas for additional flags that could, change the balance of the game, how progression works. And one of the favorite ones that we three have been enjoying is the Door Rando, come up with by JP12323. We're even going to be running a side tournament on it this coming January, and it's Door Rando. Y'all know what Door Rando is, right, Auntie?
Yeah, it's kind of like this was Free Enterprise's version of Cross Keys, kind of, except without the keys.
I mean, there are 4 keys, but they still open their usual doors. Yeah, well, all but one of them, but we'll get to that if it actually shows up. Got a Sid starter with a Rydia partner, 2 excellent characters, I think, on this flag set. We have Sea Hero in play, so your primary character's agility is really important. And we have a new flag called S Wildish for shops in play, which means that that Rydia, it is not difficult to find extreme power for her. You just need to get a little bit of cash, well, a lot of cash, and a few levels.
Yeah, and also you might have seen from the opening screen that the goal for this the seed is to just get 11 key items. That's another one of the new community created flags here, where it's just get 11 and then you get your crystal.
Absolutely. So you don't have to worry about, oh no, I've gone down a rabbit hole, I've gotten 3 key items and none of them are giving me my go mode. It's more just a general, overall completion. There's still some tricky, coin flippy choices to make near the end of seeds, but you're not going to, feel like you've just lost 15 minutes to regret at any given point.
Of course, we've got our first town within a town. We're here in the monster town, which I assume was somewhere off of Baron, and then inside of there is Troya. So Flurry is possibly taking notes, possibly not. We'll find out in, an hour.
Oh, not just one town, but 2. So Baron is floor 2 of the Fey March, and in there, both Troya and Agert, and who knows what. This is where it gets so fun and so brand bending, and really hope you're keeping your notes together correctly.
Yeah, I've been slowly developing a system for it, but it's hit and miss, and a lot of times you're just going through stuff and you're not taking the time to write them down, or you'll hit something like, oh, I can remember that for the next 30 seconds, and then it's just gone forever.
One fortunate thing for Flurry is that starting with the pan means that if he does find the Sylph House where Yang is sleeping after his explosion situation, will not have to make a note of that to come back in all likelihood. Only have to make the single dip, not think half an hour later, where was it? And we have a great check here. Antlion Cave, you love to see with a Sid start. You want to explain some of the reasons we like this this check so early in Door Rando?
Yeah, we won't have to come back to it. It's very easy to do. With Flurry had picked up a Dancing Dagger too in a weapon shop there in the Feymarch town. So Riddy will be able to contribute some damage. So he'll be able to clear this and never ever think about it again. Plus there's a decent amount of boxes, and in this flag set, we're using the T standard flag. So each treasure box is the same weighted possibility of tier 1 through 5 throughout the thing. So there's no advantage for anywhere else to loot. You just kind of grab stuff.
Yeah. One slight annoyance, though, is our Sid did start with, there's another flag in play. There's a thrift flag that, instead of it being a specific normal starting gear or the Sineki flag, which has been in play in the main branch for a while, it randomizes your starting gear within certain degrees, certain tiers that you get to set in advance. And Sid came very poorly equipped. We do have a Dancing Dagger and a Gaia Drum, so whatever's here. Okay, well, it's not a
free
threat.
is free.
Now the only question is, okay.
Yeah, for this flag set, it is Sea Thrift 4, so stuff can be tiers 1 through 4. There is a special carve out that Cursed Dragons cannot be given in that starting kit for people because they're just a little too strong.
Yeah. Tricky thing here, though, is, again, Sid being the hero in the Sea Hero flag set will always get XP, but Rydia needs those levels, and level 1, 30 HP, kind of tricky to keep alive. If the Queen takes her turn before we get to throw a life pot, it'll be a little annoying for Flurry here. Yeah.
Yeah, less than
Happened to me the other night.
Another flag that we'll see the next time Flurry gets into a fight that is enabled, and that I think community member Scythe Marshal created, is the flag that accumulates your XP bonus per key item check you do. You don't get any extra bonus XP for the starting key item check, but everything you actually actively have to check, Flurry's going to get an extra 5% for each one he does.
Yeah, so it can help you judge which key item objectives to target in a seed when that flag is on. So you're going to want to go with denser, faster checks generally, rather than long ones that have a whole bunch of cutscenes. And we have yet another town, Castle of Dwarves here, which is actually a very nice one to find. This is another one with a ton of loot. It actually has 3 shops in it that don't get randomized elsewhere, just because of how Dwarf Castle is shaped. Couldn't send those to another place as easily as you can some of the others. So it's a nice, reliable hub to go ahead and get a little bit of additional power.
Plus, you always have the option to go out the back entrance and see where that connects to, which is always exciting.
Oh yeah, love it when it spits you out somewhere underground or on the moon, and you then get to have an extra walk just to, sate your curiosity. And speaking of things to spend money on, there's a Stardust Rod and a Sorcerer Robe. Where is the cash? We need the cash.
Yeah, you won't see people looting the eight boxes in the tower, 10 boxes total in the towers, in a lot of Free Enterprise seeds. But indoors, when you get stuff when you find this early, very very tempting to go and pick those boxes up.
Yeah, because in a lot of seeds, if you have access to Dwarf Castle, it means you have access to the full underground. If you have access to the full underground, you probably have a riper fruit to harvest. But at this point, we are still very wimpy, and every little bit counts. And there's the other part of the pay march. This is nice, though. It does have a key item box here, the vanilla rat tail check, and that's another town.
Hey, a crystal sword. Will we find Cecil, and will we find ordeals?
Yeah, that is another thing. Like, you get so excited about that, but for what it's worth now, that means Flurry May is going to be more incentivized to go to places that have characters, and maybe more interested in, just opening. Like, let's say you find Sylph Cave or the Lunar Subterrane. There's Nest as well, by the way, which is also a connector in itself. Like, let's say that you have access to those, you have access to Baron Castle, Tower of Zot. Some of these have guaranteed character checks, some of them are longer than others. At this point, you really want to see that Cecil, you really want to find that ordeal, so that may inform where he decides to go as well. One thing that's not randomized, of course, is the Serpent Road. It will always connect Mysidia and Baron. You never see it used you very rarely see it used in most races. In Door Rando, that can be a very important connector. We do find our Yang.
Yeah, and I do know that the logic does not take into account that connection between Mysidia and Baron. So you won't use that as like a logical follow through in order to get access to some place. But it is a nice bonus trick to, if say your Baron town's on the moon, to kind of cheat the game a little bit.
Yeah. Speaking of logic, by the way, although the Sylph House gets disconnected from the rest of Sylph Cave just to reduce the density of checks, make you want to check more doors, those two boxes in their home can still have the monster boxes from the cave. So Flurry, you may think, oh, Flurry doesn't have to go back there now. He just turned in the pan. But there could still be something in there, and there is yet another town. What a great seed that y'all rolled for him tonight.
Yeah, this particular seed was vetted by a community member and I think the newest workshop helper, X Pancras. So thank you to him for rolling a few seeds, testing them out, and giving us one that he said can really show off Door Rando well.
Yeah, I'll note that we have not lifted the Enterprise off the ground yet. It is still in its vanilla starting location. We've checked 2 overworld entrances, and we've already seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 towns, and there's a 7th one accessible. That's Baron.
Yeah, we've made 3 key item checks.
And more item shops. There is Bacchus 1. That's one of those items that if I cannot afford, I absolutely make a note of, because if you don't find any of your white mages, you absolutely want that source of Zerk in the long run.
And to talk about another one of the flags that's been added, another experience-related flag, is the key, max level bonus flag, where if you are notably under-leveled for the fight you're about to fight, you get bonus experience for it. You get 20% for every certain gradation of it. There's a little bit of math involved, but essentially, if you're like under level 47 doing the ribbon room, you'll get an extra 20%. And that's from your highest character.
Cool. I've been playing these seeds and I didn't realize that was even included. So a little more appeal to diving the moon early. I like it.
Yeah, I've had a couple seeds where I had some early dragon killing stuff, Rosa, and an hourglass, and Rosa had Cure 4 in 10 minutes.
Nice. Oh, that's why. That's not just bosses then. That's any enemy that's sufficiently higher level.
Yeah, any fight.
That would be why I saw Rosa get a massive slingshot off of gold dragons the other night. Gotcha. We have Kakols hiding up here at the Chocobo Village with Sea Hero. Sid, with Sea Hero, and no contravening flags, your hero does get a weapon from the Game Boy Advance, Final Fantasy IV Advance pool, and all of Sid's are amazing, so I'm pretty sure we got a little note of that for the future. Hey, what happened with that airship?
He panicked and he disappeared and flew to Mysidia. It's a anti-soft lock prevention from early days of the randomizer, and also you can still probably do horrible things to yourself if you're not paying attention. And we've decided to leave that in for this flag set, for where you can just press select and the R button, and all of your vehicles and yourself get transported to Mysidia. You're in the Enterprise flying.
Yeah, because just for the sake of imagination for everyone, let's say that you fly your way to the moon. On your moon, you find
Troya
the
Castle.
Tower of Babel lower. You blow up the cannon room. You get rescued underground, and your whale is still on the moon. What are you going to do now? Well, that's not actually a problem. But also, we found it was really fun for just routing these anyway and making sure that the time is kept down to a certain threshold for whether you're doing community races or running a tournament or anything. Just having that quick reset saves so much time. You're still enduring the challenge of keeping track of everything, but it's saving you the time of walking out of places, walking down mountains, looping back to places, things of that nature.
Yeah, and you're still considering your route too, of how deep am I in this chain of towns and stuff where I found ordeals, and do I want to exit out with the panic button, or do I want to walk out to get to a town that I hadn't fully explored yet?
Yeah.
There's a lot to balance still.
I love the Mysidian Cafe there. That was a fun soft lock in the early versions of this. Of course, there is an old crone of a wizard disguised as a dancer who puts you to sleep and turns you into a piggy. And that could stick you in the wrong part of the world, away from your vehicles once upon a time. Now, there's one thing here. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, there was one thing I observed very early here that I don't think Flurry fully appreciated, and it was that there was the west side of Hobbs as part of that early nesting of towns, which Rydia can melt the ice there, and we have a third character waiting there along with a path down the other side. It's not required for the logic, I believe, but it is still a tool at your disposal, and I think this team would love a third character.
Yeah, I totally agree. I would. And it's something that I have never run into it when I have Rydia in the party at a place where I want to get the character, or have not already found the interior of East Hobbs. But definitely something to keep aware of. Same. Now we found the other side of Dwarf Castle, so we can mark that off if we were thinking about where that led.
Yeah, and we also saw another tunnel with another potential key item check. The Fame March Cave, it has, of course, the Warrior's Chest in it, but that connector can also come into play on these.
Yeah, and here you see the Troya Castle's got Troya Castle and Fabul and Eblin Cave all have some of their interiors connected like that too, and randomized to where the sick room where Eddie's hiding out is its own door and is no longer connected to Troya Castle, just like the shops in Eblin Cave. So lots of places to get lost in, and it's hard to keep track of stuff unless you're taking pretty good notes.
Yeah, and I'll note that this entire Silveria chain with those additions right there was also from Aggart, which is again that original Baron check. So again, this is definitely on the high end. If you want to try this out, I promise they're not usually quite this much of a single entrance spider web, but I'm delighted. I'm delighted.
And there are some other ways to do doors. There's just a straight out entrance randomizer, and then you can do, like we're doing doors Rando all, where all the doors are shuffled, but you can also just say the overworld and underworld doors are shuffled, or underworld and moon, or just I think interior, or like stuff is shuffled among the world that it's part of, but doesn't go, like you can't go to the moon from the blue planet. So if you'd like a tamer experience than this, you definitely can create it for yourself.
Moon from the blue planet, you say?
Exactly.
Of course, that only gives access to one more door on the moon. If push B to jump were also on, this would be getting real silly right about now. But it's just a kind of useless in/cafe, so that's not going to really. It didn't open things up in an interesting manner this time.
Yeah, I have been tempted to do a push B to jump with this, and have decided to so far not do it, because I think you get too many doors too fast.
It is a weird, like, there. One other thing I really do like about this flag set is that in a lot of free enterprise flag sets, and it's been a joy to play them, the last 5, 6, 7 years, there's kind of a race to Golbez guarding Edward is still a key item check. There's a race to reach a threshold where you then get to do your entire grind at once. You want to get underground with sirens. You want to get access to the Giant of Babel so you can do D machines or Mac Giants, something like that. This one gives a very different flow. This flag set in particular gives a very different flow to the game. It feels like there's this huge section of accruing a baseline of item power and knowledge, and then there's a tipping point where you're not suddenly grinding. You're knocking out check super quick.
Yeah, I agree, and we're slowly increasing the amount of experience you're getting too over your checks. You don't really have to do a grind. I usually at most do like one siren at some point in the seed to finish something off, or I'll be like, okay, I'm probably gonna get go mode on the moon, so let me just go do moon checks and finish off my XP there. So it's very cool to not have these integrated grinds. And we found the Adamant Grotto there at the Baron Chocobo Forest, and here in Mist South has a sealed cave.
Yeah, and again, with that panic button and the rules that we're currently abiding by, you do not have to fight the boss of Sealed Cave to get the item. You still have to run all the way through there, of course. It's no warp glitch or anything, but you still get to bypass the boss if you so desire.
Hey, there's Halbzies for you.
You could have done this 15 minutes ago if you had wanted to, buddy.
He got one more key item check with that red tail find, so he's up 5% extra experience.
That's true, if Rydia can survive. That's a good character.
Yeah, especially with Sid as a hero too, because if we do happen to get Forge and Gigantax as the Forge, Kane can use that, and so you're very happy as he had.
Yeah. And not just that, but the turn-in for that was a Dragoon Lance. But also, I see a big bomb. So yeah, two big bombs. Flurry's waiting just a second there, I think, to make sure the flame weakness is set. I don't think the Elements boss sets all its weaknesses until it takes its first turn, and that is way more than the amount required to kill. Let's get these levels.
Yeah, just about quadruple the damage, so, he's fine. Didn't quite see if Rydia got to 50 MP, but if she did, then we'll probably be doing Baron In pretty soon.
Yeah, although may want to find, Rydia actually being dead might have been good for that, because again, Golbez. Well, actually, Golbez on this flag set's not that threatening either. He's more of an annoyance. But we'll talk about that when we actually fight him.
Oh man, yeah, Flurry is thinking, okay, because we know he found some hourglasses. He's got Kane and a Dragoon Spear. He could get a lot of levels.
Well, wait, where does he have good access to actually?
He just found Cave Value.
Oh, my brain was still thinking about Golbez. So yeah, could get a massive XP infusion there. You're right. That was at Kaipo?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Every time I look down at my tracking sheet to note an entrance, I miss another entrance that he goes in. All right, there's
Yeah, I gave up on actually taking notes here. We're just I'm just gonna enjoy the ride. Here we find hair dryers, which is another connector too, and a key item check.
yeah. So lunar path here is it's more
To the
moon.
moon.
You can walk to Cave Bahamut from here.
Yeah, and we do have the K Maya turned on because it's another one of the community changed ones where we have above and below. So everything that is not in the lunar subterrane gets to be is randomized into the pool. Um, so the LST isn't like massively powerful, but it's still pretty strong. And he's got a lot of places to check and go. And I saw a curse ring there in that shop. That's a nice find.
Yeah, I would actually. I'd be a little tempted to sell that crystal sword and just go ahead and pick it up now and just you say, because I could see this being a seed that if you vet the seed and you see the early crystal sword, are you more or less likely to send it to someone if there's a Cecil or not? Also, ooh,
I think it depends on where Ordeals is. Like, if Ordeals is in Cave Bahamut, there on the moon, and he could have walked there, that is hilarious.
wait, was that not the double shop? Did Flurry not go to the other side of it?
I wasn't actually paying attention enough to have it register.
Here, let me hit that clip button. But yeah, Edward in the Bedward providing a Bahamut summon. There is no need to save up the massive amount of cash to buy one. Hey, here's Dempsey. We're gonna get our hovercraft. It's a very good hovercraft.
It's an Omnicraft here. Partially to not soft lock in certain places because you can end up in weird spots with the hovercraft. The hovercraft just kind of breaks all rules of causality and can go anywhere.
The Omnicraft. And yeah, while I'm confirming in the chat that that was the Tomra Weapon Armor shop, it's a shop that has 2 doors, but Door Rando is a little finicky with that because it's also one building. So both doors lead to the same place. So if you go in it, don't forget to check the other shop if you still intend to be shopping. Flurry having found Curse Ring, Hourglasses, Bacchus Wine, and having a Dragoon Lance and a Crystal Sword and a Bahamut summon may just not care at this point. He may be pretty much done checking weapon armor shops.
Yeah, very likely. And especially since he did find that cursed ring, there's not a whole lot of call for armor shops. You might be interested in finding, hey, here's the deals. But you might be interested in finding like power shirts that you can find underground somewhere, or black belts or some plus strength gear, but it doesn't really need it yet.
Sid going full Genji Archer, Rydia getting a better robe and a +5 stat stick. Still cannot cast Bahamut quite yet. And 5 short of Leviathan, probably gonna skip a ride over Leviathan, go to Bahamut here. She probably gets 15 MP pretty quickly.
Yeah, and he gets a refund on his Leviathan purchase a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't fault him for buying that at all. Like, I feel that I usually will find a Bahamut summon at some point after getting Leviathan on these flags. But you don't want to risk it. Like, having her being able to sweep any number of boss fights, any number of groups in a monster box, she's essential in that regard. You really want a black mage of some sort on this flag set.
Yeah, and it gets her so much power so early that you are willing to cough up the 40,000, even though you're likely to run into something more later. It's still a lot of power in the meantime.
Yeah. We are running up ordeals. Flurry wants to be ready for Cecil when he sees him. And of course, on ordeals, the only fight that's a real threat is the second one usually. I mean, everyone's taken an annoying wipe to, Plague or Wyvern, but overall, the power level of slots 1 and 3 here is very low.
This is obnoxious, but not too terrible, especially with Kane in the party.
And not just that, but Val has no magic resist here, and we have a Gaia drum and 2 big bombs at least, and of course the dancing dagger. Like, we have so many ways to deal damage to her here. Gets lucky that Val doesn't punch Rydia. I'm not sure Val could even do 3 damage with the armor she's rocking, but, you know, would have been very annoying if it had happened.
Would have been a great high roll.
Note that although Rydia only had 45 MP, Sylph costs nothing. That is actually a variation on a vanilla glitch that had to be slightly altered for free enterprise, because it was even more game-breaking than the original runners of the game realized. So the Sylph glitch is on in that Rydia will not consume MP, casting that outside of the center slot. And that should be enough to bring Bahamut online after a brief rest.
Yeah, and now we'll see Flurry just kind of mow down checks.
Yeah, if Rydia gets a turn, things will die.
What have been some of your other favorite flags that the community has come up with so far that you've been playing?
Hey, speaking of one of the, sorry, I see a back attack plague. I wait to see if the runner's reflexes can save the day or not. Honestly, one of my favorite ones that I've seen people get confused with, because they'll turn it on and then forget that it's on. Gale Swift, I believe, has added several other places you can get key items now. Like you can get, and I think actually some of these may have been made by Esrun, but turning in the Pinktail can give you a key item. Talking to Sid in his bed in Dwarf Castle, a room we have not gone into in the randomizer for 6 years, can give a key item after you've after he arrives there, after he blasts himself. So just having more checks like that is really fun, I think. What are some of the other ones? I don't know. You tell me one. I like the additional key item checks. I like having even more places to go and look at.
Yeah, I like the Sid ones especially because they are replacements for either Edward having a key item or Demas having a key item once you find it and kill it. But moving that to an underground check kind of delays it a little bit, so it's a little bit nicer to still have something free, but not have it be immediately a problem, or immediately just available to you. You still have to like go somewhere, do something in order to get it. Kind of delays it a little bit. Characters in chess, I don't know if I love, but I think is interesting. I don't like necessarily having to be as thorough opening boxes, but I think it's kind of a neat concept, and I've seen a couple people have some interesting concepts with it turned on.
The Stardust Rod, Rydia even more ready to kill everything. To me, like a lot of the other ones, I think, that's neat, that's fun. There's one that I'm not going to mention because we'll probably see it in a little bit in the seed, that I think is also kind of delightful. But to me, the biggest thing is all the different XP flags. I'm excited to see how people experiment with them, because this has been a point of contention among the community at whole, tournament after tournament. It is, what kind of grinds do we want to enable? How do we want to do them? Because that's the thing about doing an RPG randomizer. There's always going to be an optimum one on your seed. Is it something that people get bored of? Is it something that people enjoy optimizing? And just having a wider variety of XP scaling mechanisms is interesting to me, and I want to see what people do with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's enough of them that you can really disincentivize the big, huge grind 10 minutes into a seed and make it not quite as interesting. So it's been neat to play with some of them.
And there we see the reset panic button again. We're getting out of there in a heartbeat. And we have the Omnicraft. You get to see that it goes over everything.
It goes over water, it goes over towns, it goes over mountains.
Now, I will note, though, correct me if I'm wrong here, that the spots that are normally gated by hook, the Adamant Grotto and Evelyn Cave, are not in logic until you have the hook as well, but it's not like you're going to pass them up while you're roaming around the world making checks in it.
Yeah, that's correct. And also the Black Chocobo stays around and has the same properties as the Omnicraft. So you can actually use that as a pseudo Omnicraft, and you get the nice different music from the Black Chocobo, if you'd like to.
Flurry, fortunately, of course, finding Bedward before finding this shop, not duplicating the Bahamut situation. Grabs a few silk webs, always nice on Sea Hero Seeds. Although with Sid as the hero and us knowing where those cursed rings are, might not be as necessary this one.
Yeah, you could definitely he could have skipped it if he wanted to, but habit is a powerful thing, and it does help.
Yeah. There's the Agert Well. If we find the Magma Key, that'll be one of our multiple ways to open the mountain. And we have yet another town. So, Tomra, where do your doors lead? Feymarch save point. If you're not familiar with all the Chocobo forests in the game, playing Rando will make you realize that you've probably overlooked a couple of them.
Yes, people have definitely been missing stuff when they did not realize that there was the Island Chocobo Forest, and that's a door you might want to go check soon.
Yeah, well, we have the hovercraft. I mean, you can get to it with the airship too, but
Yeah, it's one of those, like, when I'm in that area, I was like, just do that check, do it now, don't forget about it.
I have no means of distinguishing any Chocobo forest from the others except for the village. And I suppose, technically, the barren one, after you
Yeah, at a
launch the well.
certain point. Yeah.
Yeah. Found Sheila, don't have to make a note of her. We already did the pan, bada bing, bada boom, and that's a couple more key items, I believe. At least one.
We definitely got the Adamant Rock, yeah, which is nice. We know where Forge is if we can find ourselves the Legend Sword, and hey, there's our pass.
Which is honestly impressively, like, I keep buying it and not using it on these flags because I'll... One, if you've forgotten where Zeromus access is, it's not going to do you a lot of good. And two, sometimes you just need a little more XP, and one of my favorite ways to get it with a lot of parties on this seed is the Red D ×3 fight, which is already on the third basement of the Lunar Core. And yeah, chat, all those standard Chocobo forests have a hidden item in the exact same spot. And then the Chocobo Village has 3. 2 in the tail and 1 in the foot. We found Baron.
Yeah, it was Baron. But we saw Sylph Cave. How often are you likely to just go to the end of Sylph?
Just to check the door?
Just to check the door, yeah.
If I have Cecil and a Crystal Sword, and I need ordeals, and I've checked most other doors, absolutely. I want my ordeals, I want my Crystal Sword Cecil. Other than that, I really have to be missing some real dense areas. Notably, like Lower Babel, which has 4 essentially free chests, plus a not too difficult boss at the top, and another freebie if you have a tower key. Like, if I've not seen that anywhere in the world, maybe. If I'm missing Sheila, and I've already done the Yang check, anything that's going to give me more than, like, 2 or more easy checks, or a big party boost still missing, then I'll consider it. But usually I see Sylph Cave and I go, nope, and I leave.
Fair.
Got a Vanilla Asura and one of the lunar bosses over here at Leviathan. I do like Dorando frequently putting them a shorter walk to the surface. just because they're already difficult anyway, but they are a twofer. So it's easier to convince myself to go back to them when I don't have to, you know, go underground, fly all the way to the Feymarch Island, walk through 7 floors, you know, things like that.
Yeah, take a nap.
So did I get
I
the
think
Baron
I'm
Inn
nearing
recorded?
checking most of everything.
You know, I wrote
Baron Inn
down
is Mist East, I think.
Mist East. Thank you. Appreciate it. And we see that hourglass being used, Sid being heavy armor, bucket of HP, it survives just fine. Just got to get the team up, and a dose of Bahamut will get a nice XP infusion for the group. Do you think Flurry's going to go back to Baron Inn anytime soon, given that it's Golbez in the first slot and Edward is the character reward?
I don't know. I know I would do it just to clear the key item check and be able to like erase a line from my text document of all the checks that I have to do still.
Yeah.
So I can focus on other stuff later. But I don't know. It's not appealing overall.
Yeah, even with the spoon, which spoon flag's on, Edward can swing it. But yeah, it's just kind of a gross fight. But I hope he does, because again, flags that I hope we get to show off. But Dwarf Castle might be the more appealing check here, because you know you're getting a character who is likely not Edward, and with those hairdryer levels, we definitely got the power.
Yeah, for sure. It itself is still a good bit more money and a lot of experience. So Dwarf Castle is a pretty good check here. We've already found the Bahamut and the Leviathan summons though, so Rydia is less interested in Dwarf Castle for getting her extra summon power.
Yeah. This play also makes a ton of sense. Evelyn Castle, 3 boxes, a ton of loot that you're going to accrue during it, just in case you decide you need to buy something else. And we do have another Hourglass 2 there. We have a Gaia drum. We have Bahamut, of course. So, should be pretty easy here. Somewhere, a big old fan of memes sheds one single tear of joy.
Yeah, and Joe does point out that we don't actually have our underground access yet. We don't have a darkness crystal. There's a lot of stuff we don't have, and like Baron Inn is an interesting check just because it does get us on the path to underground possibly.
Yeah, but I believe that the Golbez logic still applies,
Oh,
right?
that's true. Yeah, that would apply there. Yeah.
So Golbez can't block it. This Evelyn Castle is blocked by a hook. It can't block it.
No, Evelyn Castle's not. Because you can always fly here.
Oh, okay, even though it's contained in a hook. Okay, gotcha. Because you could just take a choke.
Oh wait, no. I think you're correct there. That this, since this normally wouldn't be hook blocked.
But it is this
now. Yeah, I think.
Oh no, because you can take the Mist City. You can take the Serpent Road. Or no, Serpent Road's not considered. You said, right?
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Okay. We don't know what's logical or not on this flag site yet.
I know I legit just play these as though it's all unsafe all the time and just don't really care.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's another way to get to Baron Town through the entire chain of other towns. I was definitely not paying attention to that. So I think that there could be a path.
The only one we've seen is via the Serpent Road. But we do have the Land of Monsters, the Sylph Cave, and the Walk to Cave Bahamut on the Moon all available. So those are things we've not seen that could have the logical route.
It'd be really rude if it was the Walk to Cave Bahamut.
It's not so bad.
I mean, you're just never doing it until the dead last thing. Well, you might, because you enjoy those walks.
I just like the moon music. I think it's nice.
That's fair.
Yeah, with the extra levels from taking down the hairdryer chest, Flurry really doesn't need to use his hourglasses here. But on the other hand, if we end up doing the Sylph Cave boxes, we're hopefully going to pick up a Cursed Ring first, and then not need it there either. Like, I find that hourglasses on this flag set are such a cash bait. Because you can gain, you accrue the ability to do these things quickly and at like that weird threshold in the seed around the 40-minute mark. Okay, so we just learned something interesting, right?
Yeah, that's a hook.
Which means that this could not have been gated by itself, unless the logic doesn't account for it being over here.
Which I know yesterday, I think it was, or maybe the day before, I said that I should probably actually like read through the logic, and I still haven't. So it's entirely possible some stuff is accounted for.
Yeah, because otherwise this check, or it's completely unaccounted for, right?
Yeah, because like we've seen multiple chocobo forests, so you can technically get here. I don't know if the logic accounts for it, but you can get here without the Omnicraft being in the Omnicraft. But you only do that because you're getting all the extra Omnicraft level abilities of the chocobos. So I don't know, but we found a tower key, so that's great.
Yeah, tower key and hook. Our key item count is growing nicely. And of course, well, did we see Lower Babel? We did, right?
We did, yeah, we know where that is.
It's at Miss North, so I hope we get to show that as the path underground. I love that one.
Yeah, Flurry was overjoyed to learn that you're not just limited to Magnum Key or Hook anymore, and he's now able to avoid even more hook routes than he was before.
As soon as we get a hook, or either of us finds a hook route required seed, we have to send it to him, right?
Oh, for sure. I don't think I've had one yet, though. I've had Ordeals on the Moon with a 2000 HP Dark Knight Cecil in my party, and Ordeals gave me Go Mode. So I had a 600 HP Paladin Cecil in my party who did nothing in the Z fight.
So we are doing the Dwarf Castle check. It'll tick up that key item count, key item check count for further XP. We get a character. And spell power at this spot actually kind of rude. I don't think it's enough to take down any of these characters at their XP levels, but it's not completely free.
I mean, Reed could get popped by Cindy and then take the bounce and probably not have a good day.
Ow. We did see Sid quickly swapping Samurai Bow to Elven Bow for the quadruple damage versus mages.
And then we got Blarg, so they're all gone. It was not Rydia who had a bad day.
Yeah. Alright. We absolutely do not care about the Rydia spells here, I would dare say. I mean, Asura may be nice if we never see a white mage, and, well, we've never seen a white mage. But I don't think it was in that suite of 5.
I didn't see it. There was one I didn't like get the shape of correctly. So, but nope, it's not there. Vast overkill here with Rydia killing the dolls with Bahamut.
I do think one thing I think I would like to see Flurry go back and buy that Cursed Ring now, like Kayn, or at least swap Kayn and Rydia, because I want that Bahamut coming out as soon as possible here, and that Cursed Ring would confirm the turn order, and Flurry would be getting it off instacast, instacast, instacast each fight. Yang joins the team. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Yang's fine. He's a good bit of HP. he might be useful when we get later in the game, but there's no real impetus for him to be good for a long time.
Yeah. Just it's a character that Flurry doesn't have to worry about gear for. Like, you can completely ignore his inventory and probably be fine. You'll want to look at the weapons once in combat for the make sure he's not wearing a charm claw, but you could buy 2 cat claws right here and be happy with them to the finale.
Yeah, or just be happy with Poison and Ice Claw and be like, eh, whatever. Or go back. Flurry's so indecisive. Yeah, I agree with you that going to pick up that curse ring is pretty important. I'd want to be able to mark that, to take that off of my tracking sheet too, and just have it there. And maybe hit up Sylph as soon as I get a 5th character, or do any number of other things.
Yeah, like in a race context, I think a lot of these are going to come down to. I feel like there's going to be a lot of coin flip between Sylph Cave versus Moon. And Sylph Cave, of course, is better if you have the agility set up to instantly sweep every box there. And Flurry can make that happen if he wants.
Yeah, and Moon is always interesting too, because you can have the LST access, but not have Darkness Crystal, and that should affect your. I think it should affect your logic, because I don't think you're supposed to be able to get that through a Moon box, or like it's considered a Moon location. I think, I don't know. It's again one of those things I have to check the logic for, but I've never gotten the Darkness Crystal out of the LST. So I think you kind of want to think about what you maybe can get as you're contemplating your route through a seed.
Yeah. So we're back at Troya Castle, which... There... Oh, okay, no, it wasn't here. It was part of this chain.
Yeah, so you want to talk about that flag?
Yeah, there's Witch Bez in play now, which instead of it being guaranteed 3 disrupts, well, up to 3 disrupts, and then Golbez rotating Fire 2, Lightning 3, and Virus, those are randomized now to make it both a little sillier and a little overall less threatening. Because the fight itself is very rarely threatening. It's mostly just time-consuming and annoying. Most runners at this point know the tech and the strats to minimize the threat. So we didn't. Oh, Bluster didn't actually land. It would have been great to actually have gotten an insta-kill from the Shadow Dragon here. And poor Golbez only has like 300 HP, so we're probably not going to see even his first spell if I had to guess. Let's see. Oh. Just lighting him on fire. Oh!
Big Mom. Well,
Got one off. Ow.
yeah, I had him roll all 3 tier 3 spells in a seed recently. I was a little bit surprised to see like Lit 3, Ice 3, Fire 3 come out at a pretty high damage spot too. It was a little gross. We have found soft blocks with that too. You do need to be careful with how soon you put up a Star Veil, because a couple of the spells are not handled well. I think it was like Beak reflected off of a wall, and the game just kind of froze and didn't know what to do with itself.
All right, Baron in down. Edward joins the team, and this is garbage.
A glass hat for a glass cannon.
So we still have a few long walks. We do know where lower Babel is, which, given that tower key, would definitely be high on my agenda at this point. 6 checks, plus an underground access. And I don't think we currently have any character checks available, do we? So you're not really changing your team up.
Yeah, and Lower Bevel isn't that much experience that you'd be possibly putting on Edward that you might want to get rid of at some point for somebody else. So it's a good way to boost your XP percentages and to not spend that much of the valuable experience in the seed on someone that you might not care about. Over here, we're going to pet the Flame Dog real quick, get a key item check.
Although not as quick as we would like, but this is another one of those things where the door rando exit button makes this check a little less annoying than it would be, since you don't have to walk all the way back out from the 5th floor.
Yeah, and if you were planning to panic a button out of wherever you were anyway, then you might as well just do this at some point when you can, and not necessarily wait for the Earth Crystal, just to kind of get it out of the way.
Yeah, Earth Crystal's also just one of those checks that even with, like, yeah, it's time-consuming, multiple cutscenes. If your team is already strong enough, you don't necessarily need to rotate them out. So it's also a hard check to make on this flag set, I think.
Agreed.
Just one coffin. Yeah, this is the Lower Babel play. So in normal free enterprise, there are two logical ways underground. You take the hook, you lift the hovercraft, you go through Upper Babel, or you throw the magma key into the Aggert well. There's one here that's not in logic, and it's pretty great.
Yeah, I know I somewhat confidently said in your stream, was it yesterday, that this wasn't in logic, but I did read the code a little bit, not enough to really understand it, but I did see that JP does include checks for this. I'm just not sure what exactly puts this in logic or how often it's actually here, but there is some code that I don't know how often it gets looked at or exercised, that does at least look for tower key stuff.
Okay,
But
well, maybe
I don't have comprehension of it, but I know it's there.
Well, if it is logical, exciting. Love to have a third way underground. What it does, though, is, of course, the tower key, when used, normally you use it in the underground when you're already down there, and you land on a new and improved Enterprise, been upgraded, to save you from the lava below. But now, if the Tower of Babel can be above ground, well, this can also be the way you open up the underground. And that's what Flurry is doing here.
Yeah, it makes this entire whole sequence of checks super valuable near the tower key, and you just don't care. Now he gets to cross off the well from his list of things to do. He gets to not care so much about the hook route. I don't know if you've seen it, but he'll still care about it for the quad ogres, but he just walks away.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Upper Babel yet.
Good job, Kane.
I don't think we have a Thunderclaw or a Hammer. So our two machine killers not really pulling their weight here. Kane having to do the heavy lifting.
And I don't think we've seen a lot of magic restorative, so Rydia is patiently waiting her turn.
Yeah, throwing Bahamut's at these to the tune of 60 MP a pop, probably not the best use of resources.
We're very happy to see that Zeus Gauntlet. Kane will probably be equipping that very soon.
Oh yeah, he's still rocking an Iron Gauntlet. Very nice upgrade. Let's get a power shirt to go with it. Let's let him live his best life.
Wouldn't he be too smug at that point?
I don't know. I think there's... I think maybe wearing plain leather is actually a little cockier than that even. Like, you know.
Fair.
He's down on the corner wearing his leather. Officer Bigan comes up and he's like, hey, I thought I told you. Yeah, whatever. breaking the 2,000 mark now, and an enemy with no weaknesses to the jump attack. Very nice. I think that's our... Is that our first White Mage stat stick? I guess... No, I think we have a Lunar Staff down there. Otherwise, Flurry would have kept it, so... But so far, 0 for 3 on the alert chest, right? Or is that all 4?
I was just wondering how many that was. I did not count even a little bit.
I thought that was only 3.
Big Bomb's doing good work this seed. That's probably the most damage they've done out of with just 2 Big Bomb usages ever.
I like big bombs.
You cannot lie.
Nope, not one bit. So again, the reset button, the escape buttons, also really nice here if you don't have the tower key. You clear everything on the way to the top. You don't have to walk back down. You just warp back to your start point. It is nice though, even with the tower key, because what you can do is warp back, and if it's not a extremely attenuated path to get here, you just walk back in the front door and activate the cutscene that way.
Yeah, that's a good amount of travel time off. I love the panic button.
I could have sworn that was only 3 alerts.
I thought so too, but he seems to be very confident walking by those 2 other boxes.
Because there was a Siren in the first one, a Silent Staff in one, a Zeus Gauntlet in one. Like, I definitely registered loot from 3 boxes in my brain.
And I didn't register any other loot that I can remember.
Is now a good time to talk about the marathon?
Yeah, go for it.
Already, and I do think I saw 4, but I don't remember the loot was. But, of course, this is to fund the Burn Children's Fund to support them. We have raised $3,000 so far. We're trying to send kids to camp. Camp Can Do, the South Carolina Firefighters Burn Children's Fund sponsors a 5-day summer camp for kids who have been burned, big or small. The camp is free for the kids, and it's designed especially for the kids who've suffered severe burn injury. About every 500 sends a kid to camp, so we're at about 6 kids so far. And the great thing is, these, burn patients can just be kids. They're not seen as, like burn victims or how they might be seen every day. They can just relax and be kids. It's a really great cause.
And so far, so good. The marathon's doing good work. Seen a lot of great randomizers played so far this end of the week and the end of the weekend. So thank y'all for putting this on.
Yeah, it's been a blast to have on.
It is always fun to run and great to see all these randomizers, some for games I remember when I was a kid or a teenager, like Final Fantasy IV. There's some new ones that have caught my eye.
Yeah, I do see one of the donations coming up for, I will shill for my friends who are doing the Time Spinner randomizer. I love that one. It is a super fun Metroidvania, and I'm sure that's going to be a really great run to watch. I'm looking forward to that one myself.
2 to 3 incentives for that are met, but we still have 80 to go for the glitchless. Coming up at 4:30 is the Metroid Prime 2 Echoes randomizer. All the incentives are met. Then at 8 is a character named Bid Roar, 6 characters long. We have no bids for that. Later on at 10, the M1Z1 M3Z3 Quad Rando. Do the useless item checks. That incentive is met. That should be fun to watch.
right, well,
Yeah,
we
that has
have
been an experience to watch people play through that the few times I have.
made it underground, as you see. As I believe a side effect of the Chocobo and the Omnicraft situation. You can also fly through the walls here. The underground map does loop around, just like the overworld map. It's a little longer in any given direction to make that worthwhile, but it's fun. And so far, the only thing we've seen down here that could be a check is that Quad Ogre's box in Upper Babel. Otherwise, kind of sparse down here. Not really. Well, I say that.
And then we found the lunar subterranean.
Yeah, so 4 bosses with 5 key item checks down here. If you're, like you said, if you're under leveled, you'll get a big old boost. And I think we're about to say goodbye to Edward, spoon and all. Well, we're gonna keep the spoon.
Yeah, we can throw it at somebody.
But we have reached kind of like that turning point between, do you want to do the Sylph Cave checks? We know where a curse ring is, or do you want to do LST checks with all their key item checks and big XP gains?
Yeah, I'd be super tempted if I found a white mage real soon to pick up the white mage and go down to the LST. I think we saw from the experience at the top of Lower Babel that we're at about double currently. And so you could add another, probably he'd be getting close to 40% extra if he did LST boxes right now, or did the a double gold dragon siren fight.
Well, note though, what places do we have right now that we could even get a character? I believe Cave Eblin is the only one in play right now. We don't have a Baron Key, we don't have an Earth Crystal, a package, or a Sand Ruby. So if we want one, that's kind of the only door that's going to give it to you.
Yeah, could make you want to do the Quad Ogres check real fast to pick up another key item, see if you do find that Baron Key, because we do know where the backup Baron is.
Here's the cursed ring purchase.
Yeah, so I guess we're doing Sylph. Or maybe he wants the cursed ring to go down to the LST, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a fantastic item if you have a Sid in the party. He's still a bucket of HP, wearing heavy armor, so, and with it, your turn order will be set, and he will still take his turn in the queue. It'll be really hard for him to die. We don't have a white mage, so he can throw any curatives we have if the need arises. But I think I'd be more inclined to go Sylph here, because I think without a white mage, there's still some bosses that can give him grief. Whereas everything in Sylph Cave is going to be free with this setup.
Yeah, and my favorite part of Hero is that when you do curse your hero, who's very slow anyway, you can now move him to the 5th slot, like Flurry's doing right now, and you freeze up your center slot. You no longer have to have the hero in the middle, the person in the middle being your anchor, because your hero is the anchor, so you get to adjust them wherever you'd like.
So we are in Feymarch 2. Leads to Agert. Oh, well, okay. Land of Monsters. He wants to see where this connector goes, I suppose. Yeah, Sylph Cave is over at the either Mount Ordeals or it's Chocobo Forest, so this is definitely a run at the Warriors and to see where the connector takes us.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense. Just do something real quick, knock it off.
Sid is at exactly 0 agility right now.
Delightful.
Everybody's RA1. We don't know how to divide by 0 here.
We don't want to end the universe, so we'll just pretend like he's got not an undefined number.
Doesn't even bother run buffering here. Really, how low is this battle speed? Did he just turn it all the way down?
I don't know, but I think he turned it down probably to maybe 3 or 4.
Okay.
I don't think that felt quite like 6, but maybe it was.
Yeah. But of course, with this many people entering the queue, you don't need the run buffer if it's that low, because the pointer will look at Rydia and they'll say, everybody, and it has 9 other ticks for everyone enter the queue. And then you get to throw the spell in time. That's gobbledy to folks who don't know the agility. Just know that Rydia had all the time in the world to get that off before the enemies started bopping.
We're gonna stare longingly at a paladin sleeping in their bed.
Cecil, my love.
If I wave this crystal sword under your nose, will you wake up?
I mean, Flurry is riding down this path right now, because I think that given we have the pass and we know where that entry to Zeromus is, there's little reason not to get him before the end of the game. Like, even a level 1 Cecil with a crystal sword will do more damage than a lot of people at Zeromus. Alright, this is that upper battle check for the 4 ogres, I believe. Oh, you don't need to cabin for this. You think Muhammad cannot kill these 4?
Just run buffer. Throw a couple like your 2s on her. You're fine.
I mean, she is wearing a glass hat and in the back row, so yeah, they would not be. But I guess if you want to make sure everyone gets their, what, like 20,000 XP for this fight? Just to be safe.
I mean, I guess.
You ever try not to embarrass yourself in front of your friends, and in doing so, you embarrass yourself in a different way?
Every time. I'm like a cat who jumps at things and misses all the time.
You know, again, love the emergency exit. Oh, okay, it was at 6. Okay, there we go. Love the emergency exit button, because you walk this far in, you really hate to walk out, and yeah, all the way to the end. And we're definitely not going to be fighting the bosses to make our way through it.
No, this is the worst possible place for this box. I love it.
It's kind of funny that Rando, with its other options for getting around, I don't think we see the Falcon. I've not seen the Falcon in a single scene. Like, just that's the real not appearing in this scene. The poor unloved Falcon.
I can't remember who was at King Queen, but I had a seed where I was like maybe 35, 40 minutes in. I didn't have a whole lot of power, but I could handle who I knew was at the Rubicon spot. And I was here. The Bad Ogres were in this chest. I think it was DKC. And I just couldn't beat him. Like, he was too fast for me and did too much damage. So like, this was the seed that was closest to it being really correct to go underground. And DKC said no.
Here's our Sylph Cave incoming. Other door. He might have just not have written that down and wanted to double check what it was. Wait, what? Come back. Where are you going? Don't leave. What's the check that's caught his eye here? Bacchus wine?
Camping supplies.
Oh, and maybe some hourglasses, but
Sell it.
let it go.
I mean, you do have a light sword there, Flurry. You can just sell the light sword. It'd be fine.
All right, Sylph Cave. But again, Rydia should just be sweeping everything in here anyway, except maybe the 2 Marlboros, but the cabin's very good purchase, though. She is going to be chewing through the MP here.
Yeah. I think I saw 1 Ether 2 in that inventory. I didn't pay enough attention to see what else is there.
Rudy and Edge do a little dance around Yang, as you do.
Yeah, Bahamut being slower than Quake means that this fight is one that's just going to get you every time. No, there's nothing he can do in order to let Rydia sweep it to clear it before they can do something.
Yeah, but you know, their bad breath will miss on anyone who resists even one status effect of the bunch. That's why we only saw one actually activate. Yang is not properly defended in that regard. And Darkness Crystal from the very first box in here. That'll put Flurry at 7.
And
Oh no,
town.
I think I'd stick her. Well, he want. I mean, again, the only character check you get is by doing Cave Ebland.
I would.
know.
I think I stick around too, but
Yeah.
he maybe wants to show off more of all the doors on the moon. Although we've seen what, 2, 3.
Yeah, we've seen 3, and we could have seen Cave Bahamut as well. So Cave Bahamut, Lunar Palace, Hummingway, and the southeast door, southeast path, are the only 4 doors available up there. Of course, this does also give access to the last arm chest on the giant, which is in play for key items. So that's an option.
Yeah, it's not a bad way to exit the moon to get back in the thing, go to the giant, and then just panic button out, and you're back on the blue planet. It's pretty swift and nice.
So a couple cutscenes. I'm really excited on the Cave Bahamut check because that's been available for so long, and if it's just a free Rosa or Fusoya in Evelyn Cave, that would be pretty delightful.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much to do, and it's hard to figure out the priority for these.
Makes sense to go to the 2 for first. You only have to land once for both of these. The Bull! That's a check we've been missing. It has 3 other doors leading off of it. Sheila's disconnected.
Flurry surprisingly pessimistic for his chances of doing this, going back out and saving.
They're gonna knock it out very quickly. It's 1500-ish HP at this point. His team's overpowered for it, and it'll give another 5% boost to all further checks.
Are we still at battle speed 6?
One day, my dragon will blarg. One day. At least it did go off before the charge. Then you would have felt even worse, watching every little swing miss your team.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah. There you go. That's the lab.
We've got a good priority to go to soon.
Probably contemplate, do I even check these other 3 doors?
Right? I've gotten in the habit of starting to check these other 3 doors most of the time before I go in the fight. Like, it depends on when I need to write stuff down. If I need to write stuff down immediately, I'll do the fight and write things down. Or if I can keep a little bit more in my head, then I'll check the other doors first so I can panic button out sometimes.
Yeah, I like doing them first so I can panic button out if there's nothing else. And also, if there, I am a eating champion.
Delightful. We got Joey Chestnut here.
Yeah, which is a great name for a dwarf, actually. But But yeah, because you can write stuff down during the cutscene to start the fight. You can just mash A to initiate the battle while you're looking at your note sheet and, going for it. Staying on the... You're not insta resetting to the Cecil?
I mean, probably smart. There's not that much that you need them for up here, so you might as well just finish all this out.
Yeah. I think between... But here's the thing. You're at 8 key items. You need 3 more. I would say between... Oh, there's a character. See if there's another Cecil there. But I was going to say that between Sylph Cave and the LST, you probably have your 11 key items in play already, would be my thought. And that you don't really need to check more doors.
Yeah, that's true. You could feel a little bit uncomfortable without a white mage and be looking for that.
I mean, yeah, but we also have at least 2 Sirens, plus Hourglasses, plus Gold Dragons, plus Bacchus Wine, plus the beefiest team possible. It's like, swap Riddy out for Cecil, and just beef it. Just beef it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of risk there.
I ain't scared of no Big Bang. That is nice, though. So we're up to 9, 2 to go. I don't think we'll be looting anything here, but we definitely want to see the character. And is there any interesting place that this final door at the end of the cave can even lead at this point?
That's what I was just trying to think of. I don't remember if there's anything that I would care about anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we've seen it all. At least everything that, matters. I hope, it's going to spit out Watery Pass South, and you could have had this white mage if you just walked backwards through there. That's my theory.
Yeah, that would be the one reason I'd want to check, is just be like, how soon could I have had Porum? Well, I'm not sure that this can connect to directly to another, to an exterior. Like it could go to a town that could connect to an exterior. I don't actually remember. By Yang.
Aww. Welcome to the Cave Springs Inn. Please enjoy your luxurious stay in our spa environment.
The elixirs are just water with cucumber in it.
I like the Asurabai. Tell me that he's going to ditch Porum for Cecil now.
I mean, frankly, I still like your idea of just grab Cecil and get rid of Rydia and you do the LST.
Yeah.
Especially when you hit your 9th key item. It's not uncommon for the moon to have 2.
Where? Oh yeah, through the LOM caves. One thing I am purposely just never recording. I'm never recording Tower of Wishes on this flag set. No. You might as well have this be perma-leave.
Yeah, C-buy, yeah.
C-buy? Like, no. Once they're gone, they're not coming back.
Hard same.
Even if it's a 1-door entrance on the surface of... No.
I don't have time to write that down.
Yeah, there's no headspace for this.
I don't have a headspace to remember where Eddie's sick room was in order to play the harp at the end of this lead.
Bedward is in... I wrote it down. This might be helpful. Waterfall... It's one of the 3 of Damsian, Waterfall North, Waterfall South.
Okay.
Yeah. It's an imprecise measurement, but good enough.
I've vacillated a few times on the waterfall entrance because it's actually like it's waterfall and lake and Damsian going south to north. But I've thought about just calling it Watery Passage South, Watery North, and Watery North North.
Good old Watery North. It's my favorite
Because
game.
it's walkable from Watery North, so it feels like, correct to do that.
Sorkrobe Cecil! I love it. What?
Leather Daddy Cecil instead.
He and Kane are both so... they're in a biker gang now. They're both wearing their leather.
I mean, it fits for the beginning of the game. Like, you could definitely see them doing that.
Oh yeah. You can't be marching off on your delivery mission in Dark Knight armor and Dragoon armor. You got to be wearing your travel clothes. So yeah, Flurry going for a more balanced team comp here instead of really leaning into either option. I do get keeping Rydia in the event that we don't get 2 key items out of here and we go back to Sylph. You'll be glad to have her. But 5 Zergers is just, a good time.
Yeah.
How many levels does Porum get from the first check? I mean, she is Porum, so her XP curve's not that great.
Our XP curve isn't as bad as it's our spell curve. That's the problem.
Oh, gotcha. Touche. But, as long as Flurry gets the life glitch, I will go ahead and say... I'll say level 49. So plus 48. Wait, he ditched Kane instead of Edge? I'm confused.
Him too, especially because of this.
Like, just having anti-dragon weaponry, we've not seen... No, we have seen Peldim and D-Lunars, haven't we? Okay.
We have, but it'd get this through a little bit faster. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, Dragoon Lance is my favorite weapon in the game other than Crystal Sword, so...
Yeah, but we did get a nice double, life glitch enabled on this, so we picked up a total of 4 King Ryus there.
Let me gun that up to level 53.
Okay, so Porum's getting holy. That's your call.
Yeah. Plus 52 left.
Pretty much right there. Maybe a little bit short. It's
What's it say?
900,000 for her.
Oh, only 50. Only 50.
Only 50 for Cecil. 41 for Porum. She's 51.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Just short of holy. By like 70 or 80,000. Like, it's real close.
Yeah. But I'll note that a level 51 Cecil with a level 51 Cecil with a Crystal Sword, your party comp no longer matters. You're good. You're fine.
Yeah. Also, I questioned the exit out of there. I think, because I would use the ether.
Oh, you
Yeah,
use ether.
I just use the ether and get on with it.
Oh. Yeah, balanced party comp, keeping it steady, not swinging for their fences. That's fun. But Crystal Sword Cecil, who cares? Who cares?
Right.
I mean, even the Ether 2 only gives what, like... Not...
Yeah, but how much do you need to cure for Cecil and Zerka?
Oh, that's true.
Because we just gotta get through one fight, probably. Like, unless this is the Gauntlet. That'd be the one horrible flaw in my plan.
Yeah. I believe we still have all the Bacchus one we bought. I don't think Flurry spent a single one. Must be saving them all for Zeromus at this point. Yeah, Mylon Z is gonna...
Yeah, my plan would have been great.
What a great plan, Auntie. I love the plan.
Now, I've been playing these really aggressively as I'm practicing for that tournament you mentioned earlier. So, like, I finish somewhere around, like, 80% of these, because I'll do something really dumb, like not save for 40 minutes, and then do something a little bit out of my reach, and lose 40 minutes entirely of exploration and growth. I'm like, cool, well, we'll play another one tomorrow.
There's key item number 10, Twin Harp. All right. So top down, very good strat here.
Yeah, we're bailing. Are we gonna go play the harp?
Be funny if so we know where Magnus is. It's through Baron at Eblin Cave. And if he didn't write down where Bedward is, this is definitely a way to make the harp music happen, so. That lady loves to check the integrity of that door. She is the worst.
Is she like Ro Laren and Geordie in that one episode of Next Generation where she just phases into stuff?
One of the NPCs in Kaipo in Free Enterprise talks about checking doors because apparently in the vanilla speedrun it was a frequent annoyance when they would walk in and keep you from getting to Rosa. So it's a long-standing Final Fantasy IV issue.
Well, those two, depending on how you're going to the standard review check, are brutal for blocking you into some other way of getting there.
Yeah. I think the reason that lady has been annoying me in particular on door rando seeds is that in normal seeds she can't take that tile until you use the Baron key or complete Baron Castle. So if you're walking to it to unlock it, you just get to walk up to it, open it, and you're good. You don't have to worry about pushing her into the door. Didn't Flurry buy one kamikaze? Doesn't he always do that?
It feels like it's something he would do, but maybe he hasn't seen it. He could have used the coffin.
Yeah. Oh, he may not have had the... I think he saw them really early and was still strapped for cash, so...
That's fair.
I just know it's one of his favorite strats.
I mean, they're so useful for getting out of that sooner, for helping crumble skip stuff.
Got Twin Harp music. I'm going to be quiet just for a second and listen to it, because there are a lot in this, in Gelswift's pool that I don't think I've heard frequently, because of how dense the main pool is. Ah, Summer from Harvest Moon. I've never played a Harvest Moon game.
Mixing up the seasons, though. Kind of. I think Harvest Moon is a fall thing.
Well, you have to do all the work to reward yourself with the Harvest Moon. You have to do all the you have to build up to it.
Fair. Also, hey, that's a package. Flurry will not be trapped by the package. That's been one of the subtle joys of playing Door Rando, when you get a package and then all of a sudden
Your path through this village
your
gets
path through something is your path, like to the LST, is blocked by having to go to Mist Village.
and sit through the cutscene. Yeah.
Well, that's
All right.
11. That's our go mode.
Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely
and
don't
as you
need to
mentioned-
grind. Yeah.
Yeah, no grind. But as you mentioned, the Xenocat was kind enough to share all of her contributions to the main art pool, which is like 300 some odd songs she allowed us to use in Forks. So all of those are there, and you get a huge dose of all the Xeno games plus everything else that Xenocat has done.
Yeah, and that's really great too, because I feel that all the ones up to when she started working on the heart pool, like I think I've heard nearly all of those just because of, you know, how many seeds I played in the first 3 years or so of the game. So getting this side pool just with her works does give a lot of songs that I've not heard before. So I actually get a whole lot of new ones in my casual seeds. Right, so we're in Troya. We're gonna go to the first floor of Faymarch, and then we're gonna go to Mist Village.
We're gonna go to Mist Village.
Oh, I should have gone the other way.
Flurry just realized.
The other path is through Troya Town to Kaipo. Anyway, Flurry showing off how you get packaged in indoor Rando. We love to see it.
The other one is you got whaled.
You've got whaled. You've got whaled.
So now it seems like a good time to talk about the Burn Children's Fund.
Yeah, please do. Flurry has a little bit of retracing his steps to do in a moment, so it's all you.
All right, of course, the Burn Children's Fund was established in 1986 to help pediatric burn patients. You know, it's again Camp Camden, South Carolina Firefighters Burn Children's Fund is sponsoring the 5-day camp for kids who have been burned, and for about it costs about $500 each to send the kid to camp. You know, it was originally founded by the South Carolina firefighters at MUSC Children's Hospital to ease the recovery patients for these pediatric burn victims and their families. 100% of the donations go to support, you know, the Burn Children's Fund. And we are done with the cutscene.
Oh, he still has a little walking to do. You got another minute or so, probably. You're good.
All right, then we can talk about, you know, was South Carolina's only referral center for pediatric burns. And actually, it's not just for those residents in South Carolina. If you know, were, say, traveling through South Carolina and the kids were involved in an accident and got burned there, you know, it supports them as well. It's really great. You know, we basically builds these lifelong relationships, you know, friendships between the firefighters and the kids they are paired with. So it is really great. And of course, I'm not familiar with this Rando, so I don't know how much time I still have.
Yeah, we're about to head to the final boss fight. It's just, again, with how that door Rando works, there are certain points in the game where a cutscene will activate if you have a certain key item, and normally that's not a problem, but when your path is forced through it, you get a few extra minutes to think about your life choices. Andy, you probably know this better than I do, but about how many Z sprites are in the branch pools at this point?
I think it's 53.
Gotcha.
And we did pre-select a Z sprite for the seed. Gale Swift was kind enough to help me out with applying a specially created Z sprite. That is this is his debut.
Oh, cool. Love to always see, well, always when possible. Love to frequently see new Z sprites at charity marathons. One of the best parts of the community. So let's throw this crystal and oh yeah, there's that Bacchus wine from earlier. Want to be ready to start swinging, and here comes the unveiling. All right, where did y'all pull the door from? Like, what game is this from originally?
That is from the game of real life. That is a door somewhere in the north side of Chicago that I took a picture of like 15 years ago.
All right, so we now need to send this to that GeoGuessr guy, Rainbolt, and see if he can identify the street this door is on based on its conversion into a 16-color sprite for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I bet he could do it.
That would be amazing. Yeah, it's been fun to play with some Z sprites because we feel a little less constrained by normal things. You can fight a number of pets from the community, as well as things like doors. still have a good number of normal boss fights. There's some non-bosses in there too. I have added some specifically for various members of the community. Like there's a Mega Man soccer sprite for Fred Coughlin if he ever plays a Rando seed.
Gotcha. So, no one tell him. And if we find a seed with one as the boss, we'll make sure to send it over to him. Because he has expressed interest. Yeah, Cecil over here, even just wearing a plain leather shirt, crunching away to the tune of 6,000 a swing. Zeromus has 2 health pools. Once you reach a certain threshold, it refreshes into the second one. And this looks like it's Zerkers all the way down. Cecil and Edge, roughly 10,000 damage per round. This fight's in the bag.
Yeah, there's really nothing to worry about at their HP totals.
I will say that even though the Z fights in a seed like this where you get this powerful, maybe a little trivial, it still matters how you decide to compose your team. I find that this gives you a great choice of whether you want to do Zerker, Hybrid, or Flex strats. This Flex set really does provide a good little variety of options. And that is it. GG's to Flurry.
Oh, GG, Flurry.
Well underestimate. Pretty good time. Nothing to argue about here. Yeah, it was a good time. Y'all play Rando.
Yeah, it's a blast. It is definitely. We've gotten times down. Like when we started playing these were like an hour 50, 2 hours, pretty consistently. Slowly, we've gotten times down to where an hour 30 pretty typical for a fastish seed.
Yeah, and of course, if you are not taking notes during it, it'll take you like 2.5, 3 hours. Like, if you are not a note taker, it will take you quite a bit longer, and that's fine. It definitely is it requires a little bit of attention to detail.
I mean, just have fun in the exploration at that point too. Like you get a lot more out of where's this gonna go rather than the very focused direct routes. Hey, GG.
GG.
Thank you.
You got packaged.
I sure did. I realized it as I'm looking at the route, and I was imagining it, and like I'm at door number 2, and I'm like, oh no, this is gonna happen, isn't it?
Yeah, your other route would have been to go to Troya Town, the Kaipo there, and you could have come in the back of Mist, and you would have been fine. But you gave us all the pleasure of showcasing one of the 2 really fun pitfalls that key items can provide in Rando. So I think you're great.
It was a little bit of a rough go at the beginning, really wanting to find characters and kind of having to just deal with Rydia, really.
Well, you kind of missed out on one good feature of her, though. You could have melted the ice wall and seen that cane right off the bat.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I'm so used to like reflexively seeing Hobbs West, and like, okay, cool, next door.
Yeah, this is a non-entity. Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun.
You'll just have to get a branch that makes Bahamut available in Hobbs West, and then everyone will start remembering it. You just have to make it like 50% chance of Bahamut, and then everyone will be like, "Where's my Hobbs West? Where's my Hobbs West?"
I mean, we wouldn't have a free Enterprise update if we didn't have Rydia buffs, right?
True.
After what, 4 solid years of Rydia being a non-entity, she's due, finally.
I think she's doing okay.
She's really good on this flag set. I mean, she's costly to come online, but you are going to see Leviathan and Bahamut in shops. So, she's fantastic.
Spending the money to get Leviathan and then finding Bahamut immediately after was an experience.
You can't have buyer's remorse over that. Like, it could have been worse. You could have found the Bahamut store first, spent the full 60,000 on it, and then found your Bahamut. So, nah, you gotta buy those 2 when you see them. You gotta.
But yeah, otherwise, like, I think the main like decision point was getting the Darkness Crystal and deciding to bail on it right away, because I really wanted a white mage with this team.
Yeah, we figured that was probably the big motivating factor, because normally, Sylph Cave is kind of delayed by people if they don't have a good setup for it, because you really want to be able to stop the ghosts from, at minimum, getting the Fire 2 animations off. If better, get them wiped before they even start popping the spell name up. And you had the setup for that. Like, you did finally go back and buy your curse ring and look like you accepted your monster in a box fate. But that darkness came and it's like, oh, he wants a white mage.
Yep. Yeah, I knew I had Fabul Defense, which is a fast check anyway, and Cave of Blana outstanding. So, and I knew there weren't a lot of entrances to check because we had already seen, we got a good glimpse of one of the, I think, paths went out to LST, the moon surface, and then you got to walk to the adjacent door and check to see what it was.
Yeah, you also came out the door that could have let you walk to Cave Bahamut, but you didn't do that one.
That was the bottom left door, and I was like, I know this goes somewhere, and I can't remember where. And then,
you can walk back to Cave Bahamut, but you were fine not to do that. What was? Did I even write down what? I didn't write down what Cave Bahamut was. You checked it first when you flew to the moon, but it had nothing of import.
Yeah, I actually don't think I checked the Cave Bahamut entrance. I found Cave Bahamut, but by the time I had found the Cave of Blana, I had nothing else outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I hope that was a good representation of Rando. This is, as I'm sure you guys have touched on, really just kind of started this like a couple months ago. JP did a really good job of getting this out and to a state where it's really fun to play and really throws a wrench or 10 into the order that you kind of want to do things, especially in Free Enterprise, where I think a lot of us kind of have our own rigid structure of how we're going to go about things for a large chunk of the seasons. It's why I think Rando is really cool, and I hope a lot of people try it.
Yeah, and looking through that scroll too, we saw at least one more thing in the LST. Dark Knight Cecil at Cave Value had a key item. There was another thing at the back of Sylph. So you had a lot of places to go that you had options to get the rest of your 11 key items too, based on your flag set. So like that's one of the interesting things about racing this is very seldom are you like hard locked into a definite good path. So there's just lots of like, what do you luck into and what do you decide to prioritize and does it work out for you is a much higher percentage of stuff in this than I think in a lot of Free Enterprise seeds.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we've seen a lot with the development of all the branches that have come out, like in this particular flag set, only needing 11 key items kind of removes a lot of the feels bad of I didn't do this one particular check, so now I'm going to clear 95% of the seed, where it kind of gives you the illusion, right, of you have the varying branches you can take, but they're all going to converge at that one choke point. And the combination of the cumulative key item objective and just how doors are laid out kind of really speaks to what you said there. So I think it's cool.
Well, I think we're good here. Classic Gamer, what y'all got coming up next?
Alrighty, we have some great things coming up next. Coming up after this, starting at 4:30 with Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. We have met all the incentives for that. Random elevators, door lock rando, and random start location. That should be a ton of fun. Coming up at 8 will be Final Fantasy VI Beyond Chaos. Incentives are open for that. That is character named Bid Wars, 6 characters long. Nobody has names for their favorite or even least favorite characters yet. Then will be M1, Z1, M3, ZT3, M3Z3, Quad Rando starting at 10. And we have met the Do the Useless Items check incentive for that. So we have got a great rest of the night and morning ahead. And also thank you, Flurry, for giving me the little time to pitch the marathon and its great cause while you were packaged.
No problem.
Alrighty, so we'll see if the Metroid Prime 2 Echoes are going to start early or not, but we will be back.